Hey, we're back. You guys watch Big Bang Theory? Anybody? Oh. Can you see my mug is well worn? Anyway, okay. So, we are going to look at the Swagg equation for today. Oh, we're so cool. Okay, so the zoo was built, the animals were fed, but how were the crowds? Did you make any money? Certainly, some popular animals brought more crowds than others. So, for this, there is a simple equation. Animal swag equals cash money. I am so cool, aren't I? I know you guys are thinking that right now. Nobody's rolling their eyes or anything. The Zoological Swag Society believes when animals have greater swag, they are more likely to do acrobatics, stunts, make loud noises, and those awesome things that bring crowds in. Write in the quantities of each animal species that you purchased for the zoo. In the swag equations below, D represents dollars and Q represents quantity. Add the revenue from each animal together to the total fiscal year 1 revenue and write this in the zoo financials. We're not doing anything with the zoo financials today. We're going to do that tomorrow, but we are going to fill this in. So this is your responsibility for today. And I know this looks crazy, but you do not have all of these animals. Okay, there's no way you had enough money to have all these animals in here. So I really only have 8 boxes filled in. So I don't think this is going to be too bad here. So you guys are going to fill this in. So let's say you have, 4 bison in your zoo. You would type in 4, and then you're going to fill this in. And we're going to look at an example of that here in a minute. So the first thing I would do is go through and all the animals that you have, type the number that you have of each of them or whatever. Okay, so that's the first thing you guys can do. I have mine done. I'll show you here in a minute. But the one thing I want to show you is, so these are the equations that you're going to use. So each animal has a different swag equation. And remember they told us up here at the top, Q represents quantity. So that's how many of each animal you bought. So we're going to use a giraffe equation here in a minute. So if you bought any giraffes, you can do it right along with us when we do this. I didn't have any giraffes in mind, but I just picked it because it was a random one that popped up for me. But I'm going to show you how that works. So you have to know how many of each animal you have. It's also really important. When I went through these the first time, quite a few of you didn't pay any attention to that required family size. You have to have a certain number of that animal, and it's going to come back and it's not going to work out in your favor very well here because you're going to end up with negative numbers if you didn't follow the requirement for how many of each animal you had to have in a family size. So we're going to go to this page. Okay, so this is, I just rewrote that equation for the giraffe. And I also wrote down that the required family size is 2. Okay, and if you need to go back, that's on the paper that says, what's it say at the top of it here? Find it. So many papers for this project. It says species list. And it's in where you guys picked out your animals. So that would have been last Monday that you guys picked out your animals. It's in and it's attached to that if you need to go back and check those required family sizes. All right, I'm going to flip this up so I can write on my screen a little bit better. Oh, yeah, you saw that there's a Buckeyes sign in the back. That's obviously my husband's. Okay, so we are going to fill this in. So giraffes, let's say the required family size is 2. What happens if I have 2 giraffes? So I'm going to put in my equation. So, and you don't have to write this. I don't need to see work, but I'm just going to show you what this looks like. So this 2 is my quantity. That's how many giraffes I had. So if I had 2 giraffes, I'm going to substitute that in anywhere I see a Q. So I'm just going to rewrite this whole thing that way. And if I have a number right beside a letter, remember that means I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to change that to the dot that shows us multiplication. Okay, now I can go through and using order of operations, I can solve this. So I have some parentheses here. So I'm going to rewrite until I get to my parentheses. 2 minus 2 is what? 0? Yep, so we fill it in. Plus, and then I'm going to rewrite the rest of this. Okay, now I have a number right beside parentheses. What does that mean? It means multiplication. So I have 2 multiplication problems and some addition. So I need to do my multiplication next in my order of operations. So what's 700 times 0? Anything times 0 is 0. Okay, now, 56,000 times 2. You're welcome to plug that in your calculator, but that gives us 112,000. So 0 plus 112,000. The giraffe has a swag factor and it brings in some revenue of $112,000. Okay, this is if I had 2 giraffes. Okay, so now we're going to do this again, but this time we're going to do what happens if we had more giraffes. So let's do, I don't know, here, let's see. Let me rewrite this first. Okay, so there's my equation again, but this time I'm going to plug this in, and I don't know, let's say we have 10 giraffes this time. So let's see what happens if I decided to buy 10 of them. So I'm going to substitute my 10 in for Q this time. Remember that means multiply, so times 10. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and I'm going to solve this. So I need to do my parentheses first. So I'm going to rewrite till I get there. 10 minus 2 is 8. So I replace that with an 8 and then rewrite the rest of the problem. Now I'm going to do my multiplication next. So again, calculators are fine. 700 times 8 is 5,000. Whoa. Oh. Whoa. Computer got mad there for a minute. Let's see. I don't know why it looks so goofy, but oh well. 5,600 plus now 56,000 times 10. Anytime we multiply by 10, we just move the decimal point one place to the right. So that comes out to 560,000. Wow. So now if I add these, 5600, I get $565,600. So now, instead of making $112,000 off of 2 giraffes, if I would have bought 10 of those giraffes, I would have made $565,600. So you guys can see how the quantity changes that. Okay, and you guys will find some animals have more swag than others. So if we look at my example, I'll show you guys mine here. Come on. Okay, so these are the animals I bought, and they're the same ones from before. I didn't change anything. So my chimpanzee, I had 4 of those, and they had a pretty decent wow factor. So 4 got me $188,000. Now my crocodile, on the other hand, he doesn't have too much swag. Nobody's too excited to see the crocodiles, I guess. So I only had 1 of those, and that made me $900. My dolphins did pretty good. So 4 dolphins, I had a swag factor of $320,000. Okay, so you guys get the idea there. Then the last thing you're going to do is you need to add all of those up to find the fiscal year 1 revenue. So that's how much like swag, everybody wanted to come see these animals. Yay, that's how much money you made because you had exciting animals. Now, of course, some of the animals you think are exciting may not be super exciting for other people. So you could disagree with this, but these are the numbers that they have. So my fiscal year 1 revenue, my end total, when I added up all of these numbers in both of the columns, don't forget to add both columns, came out to $1,627,650. Okay? So that's what you guys are going to do for today. Whenever you have your number there, you're good to go. Save this because we're going to need this number tomorrow. All right? See you guys.